Welcome to the Tom Bernard Podcast with the family and
co-host Catherine Brandt,
Alex Bernard Rasmussen,
sorry,
Andy Brandt Barnard,
and Kristen Burt.
The two youngest women dropped the ball completely.
I'm
on
not
that
used to this thing on my thing.
No, you can hear it.
Lapel mic?
It sounds wonderful.
Yes, we have lapel mics. Look at us.
Lavalier, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, we've got to clear a couple of things up here before we get too far into this.
What did I do now?
Well, we are moving to a different studio, and that's going to be about a month from now.
Hopefully.
Not hopefully. It's going to happen.
Oh, Lord.
There's no question about it. Second thing I have to bring up is I paid attention to the news when I guess I shouldn't have, because this attack that happened.
Well, it was everywhere. You couldn't get away from it. It was a huge Minnesota, and still is a huge Minnesota story.
But
It's a national story.
It is a national story. The first three bits that I read about it, they said I'll never do it again. I'll make sure I wait.
Yeah.
They said that he was a Democrat, and he wasn't.
Depends on who you ask. He's either a very far left Democrat who hates everyone who's not far left, or he's a very far right Republican who hates everyone who's not very far
There
right.
are so many theories swirling around this guy. It first started out that because he did work within the walls years. I don't know if he worked directly in the administration, but this guy, it's very interesting, and I don't know what's gonna actually happen. He had a church in the Congo. Yeah.
Yes.
He was a CEO of a security company that never had any clients and never did anything.
Other than that, though.
He was a manager at a 7-Eleven.
Sure.
His funding to his church in the Congo dried up. They're thinking maybe that USAID money dried up. And maybe he was getting that. That once again is just conjecture. I have no idea what's true. So I guess because he worked within the years of the Walz administration, people assumed that he was a Walz appointee. I don't know if, I guess Tim Walz did know who he was, and there were some postings from Walz about this guy. I don't know if they were BFFs. I don't think anybody's going to know anything. I think it's very strange that he has been charged with second-degree manslaughter, which is
second-degree manslaughter?
That's what they're saying.
That's not even.
That's what they. Of course,
close.
That might even be wrong. I don't know. There's so much
too.
crap going on with this case because it's just been. All kinds of different news outlets are reporting all kinds of different things. He's got this list of 70 Democrats in his car, but he also had no King's napkins all over in his car. And I'm sorry, it's premeditated when you show up in you're impersonating a cop, and you've got a rubber mask on, and you're shooting people inside their house. That's premeditated.
Second-degree murder.
That's an execution.
It was an execution.
It was clearly an execution.
Oh, and to add insult to injury, apparently he shot the family dog that had to be put down today by the children of this.
Seems excessive.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole story is so horrific.
Well, second-degree murder is intentionally killing someone, but without premeditation.
Well, it's totally premeditated.
He picked out who he's going to kill.
I mean, maybe they
What's
can't
up with
prove.
the latex masks, too?
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah. There's so many theories swirling around on the internet. It sounds like we're not going to know anything about this. He clearly had accomplices. It's very strange. He had a family of 5 out in Green something.
Green Zone?
Green Valley, Green Mills,
Greenville.
Some small town.
Greenville, I think.
But he spent his nights in North Minneapolis from midnight to 6 a.m.?
No, it's where all
He
the
had
hookers
roommates.
are.
Like, that was like he had a wife, but he had roommates.
Well, he had that one
Yeah.
roommate who was a Papa John's delivery guy who conveniently had these texts from him.
And was sobbing to the media.
It all sounds really like red herrings and false flag. It just sounds fishy as can be. I don't know.
Green Isle.
Green Isle.
Green Isle,
Sorry.
that's what it
Tire
was.
carver.
And they
There you
found
go.
is Onamia close to there because that's where they found him, right? I think they found him in Onamia.
I heard it was like a cornfield or something, or maybe a forest.
He was in
I saw
some
him running
woods.
into the woods.
He
Yeah,
was in some
the
woods.
woods.
They had military drones and all kinds of stuff, and they finally found him. Apparently, a neighboring farm was reporting on all this stuff because they saw this huge presence, and they're like, well, something's obviously up, and they pulled cops from duty protecting people that were on the list. So everybody knew that they probably knew where he was.
Right.
So they finally nabbed him last night, thank God. But I hope that ends it, and he doesn't have other people that are working with him. And I'm sure a lot of people are resting easier now that he's been apprehended, because he had a long list. And I don't know. And now supposedly he's a big MAGA anti-abortion guy.
I know.
I mean, who knows what the truth is?
Honestly, if you're a murderer, you're a murderer. It really
Exactly.
There you go.
The story isn't who he voted for. The story is that he's a maniac, and he was at
and
large.
it's terrible.
Yeah, a murdering maniac at large.
Indeed. I went through a really pleasant time because I tried to, jump on and calm people down as much as I could. And what I had in my hands when I went first on social media was that he was a liberal who went to liberals and killed liberals. That's what it said.
Well, it was interesting because the Hortman, she had just voted against her party line.
Correct.
For the illegal immigrant health care situation for adults. She voted that they should not get health care. So everybody just assumed that she was being murdered for that decision.
Right.
I think that's exactly
true,
what happened, is people just jumped on that opportunity to politicize this horrific act, which is very sad that that's where we go with everything.
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb with social media is not to comment
until
the thing plays out, especially where it's like breaking news and he was still on the run, because it gets so convoluted on social media.
It
You're trying
really
to sort
does.
through the information.
And by the way, let me say about social media, would you guys stop your tough guy bullshit? It's unbelievable. I'm coming after you, Bernard. Oh, are you? Okay.
Who's coming after you?
Oh, a bunch of guys on social media.
A bunch of guys.
Well, a few guys. I would not worry about it. It's just they love to just because, unfortunately, I have had a lot of success in my career, so I should be hated. That's what that's all about.
Be careful, though.
I
would
definitely
be careful in this climate. I would be very careful. Well, I'm very careful of what I comment about now. Like, I screen myself a lot more than I used to.
You know why they got mad at me? Because you remember Don Shelby, the Channel 4 anchor? Don and I were talking about this. He's I don't know, somewhere off in the hinterland somewhere right now, but Don and I are going to get together, and maybe we might even add on a half hour or an hour to this show to try to tell people. You guys don't have to be on it.
Just you? I'll just turn the board on.
New
and leave.
information to
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, we're in the process of talking about it.
They're spitballing.
Because Don is a very liberal guy, and I used to be conservative. I don't think either one of us is either very liberal or conservative anymore. But Don, last time he was on, all we did was fawn all over each other because I adore the man. He's a wonderful friend. And I just think, to offer an example, we live different lives. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican, or used to be, or whatever. We can get along. The title of Democrat or Republican shouldn't just, okay, you're out of the mix. It's like, settle down.
Well, it's very interesting because I feel like most people feel like it would be really nice if politicians could just shut up and stop with the hate.
That would be really good.
But there's that base that loves it.
Tim Walz is a perfect example. He just loves to piss all over other people.
I know.
He loves
He's
it.
always, we need to turn down the rhetoric, and he just said that we need to push back and be meaner, and we need to fight harder. Everything is a fight.
Well, then he plays into what Donald Trump is always accused of.
Absolutely.
So then you have,
Yep.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, and Tim Walz did one good thing. He said that we shouldn't have those rallies because this maniac was at large, and we didn't know what he was going to be doing and who he was involved with. But they had him anyway. And Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, went and did all of the good old hate speech that he does, even though the governor had said, please don't do this.
Right.
He did it anyway. Mm-hmm. It's like
nobody would have, if it had turned tragic too, just at the rallies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really sad.
Very sad.
It was already a sad day.
Yeah, it was already a sad day, and somebody was just shot. Somebody was killed in Seattle? at an Antifa
Yep.
clash. I mean, it's insane. We are now insane. We have to stop this. And I don't know if it has to, do we need the military? Can people just stop? I don't know. I don't know how we stop this.
I think it started with Luigi and the healthcare executive.
Yep.
Yes, another guy from Minneapolis or Minnesota.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
No,
even...
not the shooter.
Oh.
The executive.
Oh, he was from Minnesota?
Yes, he was
I
from
didn't even know
Minnesota.
that.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it was interesting seeing all these people like making light of the Mangione shooting.
I know,
being
and
like,
women are
it's
madly in
people
love with
are-
him.
Yeah, people are rising up, et cetera, et cetera. And now you have this shooting, and all of those exact same people are like, we can't have violence overtaking our country. It's like, you're either for murder or against it. Pick a side, please.
Generally.
I don't even know.
There's a Luigi musical too going on.
Yeah, I bet there
Are you
is.
kidding me?
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
not kidding you. It's in
Wow.
San Francisco.
Oh, of course.
That's pretty gross.
That is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it's like Luigi and Diddy. It's a
Oh,
satire,
that's right.
obviously.
Isn't it like a bunch of like controversial people sharing a prison
Yeah.
cell or something like that?
They all walk into a jail and
Yeah.
it's a musical. Yeah.
Well, it's obviously it's outrage bait in musical form,
Yeah.
Why is Diddy not in prison?
isn't he?
He is in prison.
Yes.
His trial's going on right now.
Oh, that's right. He hasn't
And
been.
every other day, Diddy is like, mistrial, mistrial,
course,
mistrial.
yeah.
I'm not kidding you. There's been at least 3 mistrial filings in the last 2 weeks. And I'm at the point, I'm like, dude, like read the
Ooh,
room.
dude.
I know.
Like read the room of like some of this evidence. I mean, who knows what the jury's going to come back with, but
So what are the actual, I haven't been following it much. I mean, I see little snippets here and there. What are the actual charges against him?
trafficking is, he has RICO charges and he's
Yeah.
got
He
trafficking.
has a
Yeah.
bunch.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Sex
But when the
trafficking,
Feds have you on RICO, it's pretty bad.
Okay, so he,
racketeering, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
okay, so he's been doing this for a very long time,
Allegedly, yes. He hasn't been convicted yet.
but he's
No.
been
So
doing this.
Technically, you're not allowed to say he's done it
Well,
yet.
He was never been caught because everyone's been paying. There's been so much money being paid off. In fact, like the Intercontinental Hotel, which had that video of him beating
Yeah.
his.
Yep.
Yep.
I believe that manager got like $100,000 to just like hide the video.
But it was all over the
So-
internet anyway. We all saw
No,
it.
but the event happened years before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw it in
Years
2024.
ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But it happened in 2016.
Oh, I didn't know
So-
that. Okay.
I like this
Yeah.
AI summary that kind of downplays what happened. Someone testified that he had parties involving red lights, music, alcohol, and excessive use of baby oil.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, the freak offs.
And also
Weird.
other things were happening, but
Oh, God.
Yeah.
those red lights
Sad.
and that baby oil, that's what you got to watch out for.
But I mean,
Every-
he got away with this for at least a decade.
Probably.
I would say 2 decades likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yep.
sounds like it.
Well,
From-
because he
from
got-
the
he got
testimony
really-
we have heard so far, it's about 2 decades.
He got really big in the late 90s, so yeah.
Yeah, because he was part of that East Coast West Coast rap war. So back in with Tupac and Biggie.
Was he West
and that
Side or
late-
East Side?
Mid to late 80s. So
He was a Biggie guy because
A
he sang
Biggie-
that every breath you take.
That was Biggie?
yeah,
No, P. Diddy
That was
sang that about Biggie.
Well, that was about Biggie.
Yes.
Okay.
about Biggie.
So
and
what-
then
Was it
there are
meant-
allegations that Diddy had a hand in Tupac's death in Las Vegas.
Well,
Right.
So what was it that finally like
Yeah.
got him?
What got him?
got the
It was
police
the
to be like,
Cassie.
oh,
It was Cassie. Cassie filed a civil suit, and he was like, "I didn't do any of these things," because she tried to, obviously she filed a civil suit for sexual abuse and everything else, and within 24 hours he settled, like right away. The hotel settled with Cassie too. I think she got 20 million from Diddy, 10 from the
Whoa.
Intercontinental Hotel, and that's when CNN all of a sudden was like, "Here's the video," and then the feds were like, "Oh, this is interesting. What else is there?"
Oh.
Yeah.
We
And
need
things
to,
started to unravel fast.
we need to take a break here because Kristen Burt's only available like 2 minutes a day now. It's
2
one of those
minutes
deals.
a day.
That is not true.
She's just too
When do I need
important.
to leave?
Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We'll be back in just a couple minutes right after this. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Pally?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget, and now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Unbelievable, Alex.
Got to print.
Oh, God.
Oh, and it's printing into the headphones.
They're printing things while I'm supposed to be doing a live read. You wouldn't want to ask ahead of time. Yeah. What are you printing?
This segment is brought to you by Brother Printers. If you're looking for a printer, why not buy one of those?
Okay, well, as soon as... You know what?
It's done.
Okay, there we go. Let's talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all modern conveniences that you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristen Bird Entertainment. What is my mic now? There, now it's on.
It's always been on.
God, I couldn't hear it. I was busy rattling paper.
Jeez.
Kristen Bird Entertainment. Was that unbelievable, Kristen?
Really chaotic.
Wouldn't
It
you,
was
really, really
chaos.
chaotic.
It's
You
such a
wouldn't-
Monday show.
you wouldn't want to say, hey, I got to print a few 30 things
I didn't
here.
know it was going to take, I thought it was going to print by the time the other ad was done, but then it took forever to send to the printer.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
printers for you.
Nice
Mike
try.
Bilski would just laugh.
Bilski would laugh. He's
okay.
laughing right now, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
Typical Alex.
Exactly.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Before we move on, I do want to say I hope all the best to Kelly Fox. Kelly Fox was also apparently attacked by this guy. Kelly Fox did nights at WLOL back in the day when John Hines was the morning guy.
What do you mean she was
I
attacked
think
by
it's
this
so
guy?
weird.
I think she was shot.
What?
Never
What?
heard anything about
Kelly
this.
Fox from WL. Well, she hasn't been at WLOL in years, but
In Minnesota, she was shot.
she was one of those guys that he shot,
I
apparently.
don't
Or-
think so.
See, here's the problem. You go to different news sources, they tell you completely different things. I really wish they'd stop doing that.
Yeah, that is
What do you got?
frustrating.
I search for Kelly Fox shot and I get a bunch of articles about Machine Gun Kelly because
Of
machine gun
course.
is a type of gun.
Wow.
Because he dates Megan Fox, or was with
And
Megan.
Yeah.
and Megan Fox. There's some of that.
That's what's pulling up.
Wait a minute. Let me look
I
on
just
my
don't
phone.
see anything like this.
Well, I
No,
talked
because
to
it was
John.
the state senator, John Hoffman, and his wife, Yvette, who were shot. Mm-hmm. And his wife jumped on their daughter and saved her, so she didn't get shot at all.
Well, I'm going to
Was
look
it
it up.
three of
because
them?
I talked to John Hines about it yesterday. John worked with her. And hopefully I can find that. Oh, you know what? He left me a message. Talk amongst yourselves for a second while I look for this. Oh, here it is right here.
I think John Hines needs to get his facts straight. That's what I think.
It says, yes, I knew she was married to John Hoffman. Also knew her from Winstead connection back when I worked the Winstock Country Music Festival. Her family was very connected to that community.
But his
So-
wife is a vet, so is he no longer married to Kelly?
I don't know. I have no idea what that's all about. But
It seems that way. Who are we? So wait, this was the man who got shot?
no, Kelly
The
Fox
state
is a woman.
senator,
Yes.
John Hoffman.
John
Yeah,
Hoffman.
I think she was married
And
to
then his
him.
wife is a vet, and I believe Yvette was the one who jumped on their daughter, who was in her early 20s, to
Right.
save her.
His spouse is Yvette Hoffman.
Yeah. So he used to be married to Kelly Fox. Is that right?
I don't think so.
Well, it says right in there, John Hines says again, I'll read it again. It says, yes, I knew she was married to John Hoffman.
Well, but does she necessarily mean Kelly, or is he talking about someone else?
John, did you know Kelly Fox was one of the people shot last week? And he said, yes, I knew she was married to John Hoffman.
Huh.
So I don't know why I would get, I mean, that's right from John
I don't know.
Hines' yapper.
I've looked at.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've all searched for it, and nobody's finding it.
Did the news ever get anything right?
He only
anymore?
has one wife, according to his.
Apparently, Yvette Hoffman went by Kelly Fox.
Oh, so it's the same person.
I think it's
That was a radio name.
I think it's a different person, but they both happened to go by that name.
What?
Wait, that's weird.
Yeah, she. It says. Well, is this even real though? What's KCCI Des Moines? Is that reputable?
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's a station.
Is any news outlet reputable?
It says, radio station Star 102.5 confirmed to KCCI that Yvette Hoffman is a former on-air personality listeners may remember as Kelly Fox from 1988 to 2001.
Oh.
So it's Kelly Fox. It's not a different Kelly Fox, I don't think.
It isn't?
That's John Hines says it was the one that worked here at WLOL.
Huh.
People has a photo of
Okay,
Kelly
then.
or / Yvette. I don't know what her name is, but does that look like Kelly?
Can you see
I
it?
don't know.
Can you see that, Tom?
Yeah, I could see it. I didn't know her. John Hines knew her.
Oh, so I guess it was someone named Kelly Fox, but she also wasn't named Kelly Fox. Hence the confusion.
I'm telling you, honest to God.
Well, sometimes people have radio names.
I sure do,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't agree with it.
Catman was not a radio name. What do you
No,
say?
not
What
at all.
everybody calls you.
I don't
Catman.
think anyone has radio names anymore, but they used
Nuts.
to.
Well, but
Probably
like,
not,
if you're
yeah.
gonna have a radio name, it should be something that obviously isn't your real name. Like Kelly Fox is a person's name. Catman is not a person's name.
No.
But the best radio name of all time, and I can't remember who the guy's real name was, but I think he was on in New York, L.A., Chicago, somewhere like that. And his name on the radio was the Geeter with the Heater.
Geeter?
Geeter with
What's
the
a
heater.
Geeter?
What does that mean?
What is
Well,
a
you
geeter?
look up what a Geeter is.
I shall.
Makes me think
he-
of Mater from Cars.
Yeah, Mater.
His name
I love
was
Mater.
Jerry Blavitt,
Jerry Blavitt. Yep, that's
Well,
exactly
that's why,
right.
'cause
the Geeter
Blavitt.
with the heater, and the big boss with the hot sauce.
Big Boss with the hot sauce. Yep, that was
I
him.
like Big Boss with the hot sauce. That's funny.
Sure. That one makes sense. but-
The word Geeter only exists in the context of that name. So
Yes,
I
right,
think
right.
he might have made it up.
He made up Geeter with the heater.
okay.
No question. And I can close with this. My favorite moment of being Catman at 1500 KSTP was when Wolfman Jack was in town. We came and hung out together for a while, and he walked up to me first time I ever met him and said, "Catman, you're stealing my act, but that's all right." Thank you, Wolfman Jack. I miss him. He's been dead for quite some time.
Yeah.
Long time, I
Great
feel
guy,
like.
really good guy. But he didn't behave, I will say that. He didn't have the best behavior,
No.
thus you die young.
Thusly.
Thusly. All right, Chris, do you have any good news
Yeah,
for
is
us?
there anything
I
fun
actually
out there in the
don't.
world?
I actually don't.
The big news today, and it was they've been touting it like for the last week or so, is the interview between Diane Sawyer and Eric Dane, former Grey's Anatomy star, now Euphoria star, and his ALS diagnosis.
Oh, God.
And it's heartbreaking to watch because he's already lost use of his right arm and he's starting to lose, he said he's starting to lose function in his left arm. You can hear his voice has also, because he's always had a very strong voice. You can hear that he's losing maybe some vocal control. He's got two daughters who are 13 and 15.
Oh, God.
And, he really goes through his journey. They are also doing a follow-up report tomorrow with his doctor who is treating his ALS. Obviously, we know that this is a fatal disease, but that because of the ALS bucket challenge, now going back almost 10 years,
Oh, yeah.
it funneled a ton of money and research into the disease, and they're hoping that there's some breakthroughs in the next couple of years, which they'll be talking about tomorrow. But more people are being diagnosed at a faster rate than ever before, about 5,000 people a year, but that it's escalating each year, and they're saying there are some possible environmental causes to that. So might be worth watching.
Is ALS related to Parkinson's at all?
Not really, no.
No?
ALS, well, Parkinson's, I believe, is a disease of the brain. ALS is a disease of the motor neurons, which are
Yeah.
over by the spine.
It's the same thing as Lou Gehrig disease,
Yes,
right?
that is what Lou
Yeah.
Gehrig's disease is.
Yeah.
Because my friend she's got Parkinson's, and it's been very interesting because I had no idea all of the things that go on with Parkinson's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Parkinson's
it's
is-
very complex. It has something
wild.
to do with dopamine receptors in the brain not working, I believe.
Well, and they don't really
it-
even know why people get Parkinson's. There
Or
might
ALS.
be a genetic
Yeah.
component, but it might be
My uncle
environmental.
passed away from Parkinson's in January 2023.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's very tied to Lewy body dementia. Oftentimes
yeah.
you get
Yeah, it's
that
very
as
similar.
well.
That's what's happening.
Robin Williams had Parkinson's along with Lewy body dementia. And once you get the Lewy body dementia, that fast tracks the decline.
Yep.
He lived with Parkinson's fairly well for many years. His father passed away from it, so there was a
Okay.
genetic tie
Oh,
for my
yeah.
uncle. But once he was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, that was just downhill so quick.
Yeah, I'm seeing
And my
that in
mom
my
happened to be
friend.
visiting from Florida, and she said, I was coming up to help my aunt take care of him. She said, I think we're actually going to be prepping a funeral. And sure enough, 3 days later, we were all in Boston. It
Yeah.
was
Oh my
awful.
goodness.
Wasn't Grandma diagnosed with Parkinson's, but then it was like
Yeah.
taken back?
She was told she had Parkinson's. She thought she had Parkinson's for
For
over
ages.
10
Yeah.
years. And then she went to another doctor who said, if you had Parkinson's, things would have been getting worse by now.
Yeah.
And
Fair
nothing was
point.
changing. So it's like, no, you just have a dedicated tremor.
Yeah, she just had a tremor.
Yeah.
She just had a tremor.
And imagine being told you have Parkinson's,
Yeah,
but
seriously.
it turns out, no, actually, your hand just shakes. It's like,
Was she taking medication for Parkinson's
No.
too?
I don't think there really was a lot
Yeah,
back
at
then.
the
Well,
time.
my friend.
Even today, I don't think there's a whole lot of medications
My-
that work very well.
Like I said, my friend was diagnosed maybe 5 years ago, and she is definitely declining very, very fast with the dementia part of it. And it's
Yep.
just, wow.
Yep.
And I've known people that had Parkinson's for 15, 20 years before. I guess you can live till your old age with Parkinson's.
Yeah, I don't think Parkinson's itself really kills people.
But a certain percentage get that
It's like
fast
Kristen
track,
said, yeah.
the dementia, which is very, and you don't know which one you have, right? It's just all wait and see.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's sad.
So hard. But I would say that maybe tune in tomorrow if people are interested in just sort of what the doctor has to say, because I do think it's kind of fascinating, especially if diagnoses are accelerating. That's not great.
No.
Well, or is it just because we diagnose people earlier
Earlier?
and more effectively? I mean, you
Yeah.
never know. Is there more
Yeah.
cases, or is it just because we're diagnosing more cases where people would normally just, die in their
From
homes?
today's indication on Good Morning America, they said that there are some environmental causes that they believe is causing more cases. So they will
That's not
reveal that
good.
tomorrow. We will have more clarity on that.
Unbelievable.
It's going to be one of those things that our children think that we were morons for not knowing. Like, oh, can you believe that cell phones used to cause ALS?
Yeah.
What a bunch
Yeah.
of idiots.
It's like lead paint.
As
Yeah,
we-
lead paint, leaded gasoline. Yeah, lead in everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
As we say goodbye to Kristen Bird, I will tell you one thing, Kristen. You were, in a way, very lucky that you don't live in the Twin Cities and came over to our house yesterday. It was a madhouse
Oh.
of children.
Oh, my God.
It was unbelievable.
It was a
All the babies.
hurricane.
4 babies,
Yeah.
just kicking it into high gear.
Oh God,
and-
Sage and Ethan were just parkouring all over the apartment.
Well, Sage was just running away from Ethan a lot.
He
Yeah.
was. He was
And he just
running
kept going,
away.
no, Ethan, no, Ethan. 'Cause he just
Also,
kept
coins were
grabbing
being
at him
thrown
and poking at
everywhere.
his face.
Oh,
and,
my Lord.
Oh, I bet when you shut the door after everyone walked out, you were like,
Yeah,
You just kind of go, what was that?
I know.
It's like the storm just,
Whirling
the
dervish.
front went away.
I know. Mom was like, I tried to wear him out by having him run around the table 10 times. And I'm like, running around the table 10 times to him is like
Yeah,
being
doesn't
still to us.
do anything.
It's true. And I can close with this, Kristen. Andy's newborn baby, he's what, 9 months old now?
Yeah. He's
9
coming up
months
on a
old.
year already.
Every time he looks at me, he goes like this.
Yeah.
He gives me this big
He
smile.
loves to smile.
Yeah.
He loves to
Sweet.
smile at Bop Bop. So that's good.
Cute age.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to NABanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hopefully, it won't be any more threatening news when you're on with us tomorrow.
Maybe we could stop it for
Yeah,
a while.
it'd be-
God,
hoping for something really fluffy to deliver tomorrow.
Fluffy
Yes.
would be good.
Yeah.
Fluffy would be
I
good.
would like Fluffy. That'd be really good. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow.
Excellent. Kristen Burt, ladies and gentlemen, take a break. Be right back. You're listening to me. Your customers are listening to me, and they'll hear me promote your business. That's the key. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support businesses they trust. Our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, and brand recognition. We're not just about ads, we're about results. Whether you're a local business or a national brand, we offer custom advertising packages designed to fit your unique needs and goals. Our audience spans multiple demographics, allowing you to target your ideal customers with precision, from millennials to baby boomers and everyone in between. With the brand, I love saying this part, increase your brand awareness. What do you think of that?
Hey.
With the broad reach of the program here and passionate following, your business will see increased visibility and awareness, translating into more customers and sales. Let's talk now about my friends at North American Banking Company. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I said, sisters, if you only knew, you would wish you were in my shoes. Keep on using me until you use me up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sandsbury Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers. Seeking justice for the injured, contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. I love how Bob just shows up whenever he feels like it now.
He does.
He's got a minute.
What the hell? Well, he doesn't have a minute.
Yes,
Oh, that's
he's
right, 11:05.
Do you remember when we had Dustin Grage
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
the show?
Yep.
Okay, he does a lot of posting on
Yes, he does.
Minnesota politics and such, and he seems to have good sources.
Yep.
Apparently, the arrest and booking details released for Vance Luther Bolter, his name is, 57. He's currently facing second-degree murder charges, but those are expected to be upgraded to first-degree murder after indictment.
Why do they have to charge if they can just change the charge later? Can't they just say, we'll see?
I think
Well, you
they
have to be charged with something
Yeah.
in order to put
Yeah.
somebody in prison.
But he
or in
also
jail.
has bail, a $5 million bail. Why would he be able to post bail?
Because I think
Isn't he a threat to society?
I think everything but first-degree murder gets bail, I think. Dave, you might know better than me. Does first-degree murder, can they post bail in Minnesota? I don't know. We'll find out in 15 to 20 seconds when he actually can hear me, because we have a
Bob?
bit of a delay. No, Officer Dave.
Oh, Officer Dave,
I
yeah,
don't
okay.
know. But I mean, hats off to the law enforcement officers that got this guy.
Yeah, and
No doubt
apparently
about it.
someone texted in. He was found by Green Isle, and his wife lives in it's Onamia, right? So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We didn't know the Onamia connection. I don't think that's where his wife lives.
Oh, are
How
they
did he-
divorced?
No, they're not divorced. I don't think.
Yeah, he lives. I heard that like he lives elsewhere sometimes, and then sometimes he's with her.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's all a very weird story. And then she was found, or they were questioning her for 2 hours because she had her passport and $50,000 worth of cash
Yes,
and a gun and ammo.
Jesus.
But then they let her go.
It is unbelievable.
This all sounds just so fishy and weird. I don't know.
How do you get to a point where you hate someone so much because of their politics you want to kill them?
Well, it'd be interesting to find out if he's on SSRIs.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
that's true.
sure
Because
he
it
was.
seems like a lot of these people that are doing this stuff are.
Maybe we should not be diagnosing people and putting them on that
It
stuff.
helps a lot of people, but
Nah,
I think
but-
it's way too just given out like candy is
Yep,
the
they're
problem. I
massively
think.
overprescribed, in my opinion.
Yes, I would say so too.
Why do they do that? Because they make money?
Yeah.
So
pharma.
Dave says there has to be a charge within 24 hours.
Oh, so they just do anything that might stick?
He says, yeah, they set one that they're fairly confident they'll get, even if it's an undercharge, because they can upgrade it later.
Yeah.
okay.
Bail is set by judges, so it's basically judges' discretion. He could have given him $1 bail if he really wanted to.
Oh.
Why he didn't say no bail, I don't know. Like, what's the point of a $5 million bail?
Yeah.
Because doesn't it cost hardly anything to get a $5 million bail bond?
I think a $5 million bond is going to cost quite a bit of money, but still, it's like, why give them that option if the guy was hunting people down?
Yeah.
I guess because he's not guilty until he's proven guilty.
We got to get Officer Dave back in when's he coming back in studio?
When are you coming back in studio?
You stiff.
Let's see. I think we have next Wednesday open. Hey, how about next Wednesday? I'll ask you on the air. Why not?
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm out next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
You are?
I am.
Monday,
you're coming
Tuesday?
back for Friday, are you?
Probably not.
Oh, well then.
So you're not on next week.
Yeah. Apparently, news to me.
We'll figure it all out. Like I said, we can get Don in a couple of times, but that's the one thing I really want to do is, like I said, he's a pretty liberal guy. I guess liberal is the word they like to use, and
Well, he was a newsman.
I'm conservative, but I'm not way over the top nut job conservative. And he and I are best friends and have been for years. I used to go 30 years ago to the roof of the Channel 4 news building and sit up there with him and smoke a cigar. And I learned so much from Don Shelby just sitting on that roof smoking cigars. He said, "Tom, why
So
do you let this
that's what
stuff
you were
bother
doing.
you?" Yep. He honestly was like, "Why do you let this stuff bother you?" I learned from Don Shelby, don't let this stuff. Like I said, I cannot tell you the number of threats that I got on social media yesterday. It's like, oh, whatever. Shut up.
Well, on that note, apparently you've been posting to the wrong account.
Neat.
Who has?
So,
I have?
yes.
No, I haven't.
There's the old account that's got a profile picture that says, like, this channel is deprecated or whatever. And apparently you've been posting to that
Is
one.
that on Facebook or?
Yes, they're both on Facebook.
Oh, I don't know anything about Facebook.
I thought you said you were back on Facebook.
I am, but I don't know what I'm doing because it's so easy to do on X. Facebook, I don't know where you're supposed to go.
We will have to fix
Yeah.
that.
Okay, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
All right, then.
But I would like to use Facebook. But yeah, I go on there and it's like, how do you, because the one thing you go on X, it goes post here. That's very simple, very easy.
I know.
And Facebook's not like that, which I do want to post on
Facebook is overcomplicated, and I hate it. But
It
It
used
is.
to be pretty easy, but
Yeah.
I haven't been on there in years.
Why do they make it so hard?
But I do think I'm somehow linked. I think some of the stuff that I post goes on Facebook because every once in a while I get this so-and-so liked your something from Facebook. I'm like, I'm on Facebook. I mean, I joined Facebook under a false name just so I could use the marketplace
yeah.
because, I had so many problems with people from your old work being horrible to me, so I
yeah.
kind of went off of
Who
Facebook
was being horrible to
altogether.
you?
I can't discuss it.
Why
I
not?
won't discuss
Why
it.
didn't you tell me?
You can't drag it out of me.
You didn't tell me so I wouldn't go and choke them.
Please.
Could be.
That might be the reason you didn't tell me.
Please.
Don't mess with my wife. How many times I got to tell you,
No,
dumb
they
bastard?
weren't like threatening
Bob.
my existence. They were just horrible.
Yeah, Bob,
Stop
it's your
threatening
fault.
Catherine, Bob.
Yeah.
They're bastard people, is what they are.
They are. They're
Bastard
bastards.
people.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sands Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Sandy, there's a lot to talk about, and it's not all sports and humor.
No, and you know what? I blew past because I usually do sports on the BS show, but that's not the story. Tom, I got to start off by saying I thought about this, and Gelfand called me Saturday, and he said in his lifetime, but since I moved to Minnesota in 1984, there is nothing I can recall so horrific and heinous than what happened over the weekend.
I know.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like when you hear about it, it's just stunning that something like that would happen.
You know what's amazing about that, Bob? Because I just looked this up because somebody told me and I didn't believe it, but I looked it up. Rated the most unfriendly state in America.
By whom?
Everybody.
By me.
Minnesota is now the most unfriendly state in the United States.
I don't
and you know
doubt
what?
it.
Oh, I
A
don't
lot
either.
of that has to do with the so-called leadership in the state.
That's
and if I
exactly
can,
right.
Here's what I want to say. First of all, it is so wrong of people to bring it up or condemn Walz and Dayton before him for this guy having been on some committee.
Right.
It was like 60 people on it. I mean, he would have no way of knowing. However, for him to, he's so disingenuous. Last night, and when it happened, we have to all come together and unite, and and turn down the the rhetoric. And you're calling ICE members Gestapo,
Yep.
calling Trump a dictator.
Yep.
Saying that people need to, you basically need to
Be meaner.
or treat people, go after Republicans. That is not deafening or turning down the rhetoric. It's just and let's see how long it is before he picks up the whole Gestapo thing. Given the chance of a congressional hearing with other governors, he did not apologize for that.
No, he did
or
not.
recant it.
Nope.
I tell you, Bob, we got him and Keith Ellison should both shut the hell up.
Ellison,
God.
if I may,
If I may.
you had Walls talking about, and the word gets out. Don't go, or stay in your home. Don't go to these rallies. He was at a rally calling Trump a dictator.
Yes,
Yep.
he was.
Hours after Melissa Hortman and her husband were massacred.
Yep.
How is that leadership from his standpoint?
I know.
mean, they are so political. They don't care.
Don't
I mean,
you, Bob?
he
Don't you
should've-
don't you
Go
think
ahead,
that
I'm
these
sorry. I'm just
rallies?
worked up about
Don't you
it.
think that these rallies make them think that they're rock stars and they can do whatever
Absolutely.
they
Yeah, they
want?
do,
They
right.
they get those cheers and all that stuff, and all of a
Yep.
sudden they're on this big stage and they just think
Yep.
that they are gods, and they can say and do whatever they want. It's disgusting. I wish that when people are at a rally, if somebody said something divisive, that they would boo them.
Yeah.
Well, but they're not there. Those people know they have a crowd that's going to give them adoration and adulation.
I know. And why do people want this from leaders? I don't understand why people want this from leadership.
Okay, let me ask you this: how many people do you know that go to these rallies? And it's the same group of people.
Yeah, I
I've
don't know
never been
anybody.
to a political rally, nor do I ever plan to go to one.
I've never been to one either.
No, I don't know anybody.
No interest. Yeah, it's not our deal. We don't know people like that.
No,
Not really.
no.
Yeah, this Tim Walz has been a massive pain in the ass as a governor because he changes his tune about every half hour. I mean,
Well,
he says some horrible things
Yeah,
on mic.
Very nasty.
And if he doesn't run, Ellison's thinking of running for
Oh,
governor.
God, that's all we need.
God.
Well, that Florida's looking brighter by the day.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Tom, I gotta encourage you to have. I've had him on my show a number of times. He's running for the. I don't know if you know Kendall Qualls or not.
Oh, Kendall's a great guy.
He's running, and
Yep.
he's a great guy. He's going to be at the. He's coming to the Buffalo Rodeo this weekend.
The rodeo.
Thursday. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He'll be there Friday. Fourth generation Army.
Yep.
He's going to wear his. He has like a Civil War uniform that he's going to wear there. And we're going to put him on a horse with the Army flag
That's
to go into the
wonderful.
arena around the time of the anthem. But this guy, I really like him because
He's a great guy.
He's not like a politician who says things because it's to his advantage. He says what he believes. And again, I think he could be our next governor.
Bob, I have a hard time saying this next phrase. Vote for KQ. What do you think of that?
I love it.
Yeah,
I'll
there
tell you what,
go.
he's got to get you to do your his campaign ad.
I've always loved KQ. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's funny.
Bob, how are we going to deal with this? People are getting crazier by the minute.
Well, this guy, I don't know. I mean, I only know what I've read about him. Is there a time where just some switch goes off and turns you into a nut job?
Yeah, maybe.
Or has it always been there and he's repressed it until now?
Well, there's a lot of theories floating around out there. Apparently, he wanted to be a preacher, and he had a church in the Congo.
Yeah.
And apparently, this guy has been sort of begging for positions of power for a long
Oh,
time, and he's
yeah.
never gotten anywhere. And
'Cause he's
there's just a theory that he's just been thirsty for power and never got it and just snapped. I don't know if that's enough to make people turn into murderers or not, but
Well, he's definitely snapped.
he
Yeah.
definitely snapped, and it definitely sounds like he had some sort of accomplice because he left the car. Did he steal a cop car?
No, it wasn't even really. I mean, they were reporting that it was disguised as a cop car, but that's not. I don't know.
It's just a black
I've
Ford
seen,
But then he left the car
I've seen
there.
a picture of the car, and it wasn't really disguised as a cop car.
But he left the car there and then
Well,
escaped
no, he
on
left it there
foot.
because he came out of the house and the police showed up.
Yeah.
He ran after they showed up, or he had gunfire at an exchange, and he went in the house, went
He
out the back
did?
door.
But then there was another car where he broke the window.
Well,
It's all
I'm not
very
familiar
yeah.
with that.
There's a lot of information out there that's bits and pieces, and someone needs to stitch it together, and get a real true timeline, because there's so much conjecture going on around, on the internet that it's making people nuts.
The most important thing right now is that he was apprehended
Yes.
and he's in custody, so people don't have to worry about him still being out there. And by the way, accomplice. My question is, has his wife been arrested or just she was stopped?
She
She
was
had
stopped.
passports,
She
she
was-
had money.
she
It
was-
looked like she was ready to go on the run with him.
She was stopped and questioned for over 2 hours, I believe,
They
and
let her go.
and let her go. But why
How
you have
does-
50 grand of cash, your passport, and a gun and ammo in your car?
How does that not raise to the level of accomplice?
I don't know, or at least
Well, it
at
might.
least knowledge of what
Accessory.
he was doing. He was doing something bad that you had to flee.
Yeah.
It sounds like she was getting ready to flee, right?
Yes.
Sure
Yeah.
sounds like
Passports,
it.
money. Unless she was leaving, she heard about it, knew it was him, and she was getting out to get away from it. Now if that's the case, I could get it. But
Oh, yeah.
you wonder, was she just supposed to meet him somewhere and they were going to head off to Canada or Mexico or somewhere?
I don't
Because they
know.
weren't getting on a plane.
Well, I can tell you this. The love of my life, if I called and said, honey, I'm on the run, I'd get, well, call me when you get back.
I'm on the lam. Good
on
luck
the
to you.
lam,
Meet
honey.
me in Canada. That'd be a hard no coming from me.
No, not happening.
Who is this?
Yeah, who is it?
I
Who
never
is it?
met him before.
Wrong number.
That's terrible. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to go with anything light today, but you got to have
Yeah.
a little fun.
It's
But
pretty
it's just
insane.
Jesus.
It's very insane. But and the 2 people that were shot that survived, she was shot 9 times. Her husband was shot more.
Jesus.
Well, apparently he emptied the chamber or close to it on all 4 of them. Because I think Melissa Hortman, her husband, had that rough number of
Yeah.
bullets in them too, 8 to 9.
And
I don't know. How did they? And then how did the other 2 survive? And second, the wife of the other politician,
Yeah.
she's a hero.
Yes.
She covered her daughter, who's got like some
Yes.
health issues,
Yep.
so that she would not be killed as well. And by the way, this guy killed Hortman's dog too.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Well, they just had to put the dog down. Yeah, because it was also shot.
Well, that's still technically, I believe, if it was a human, if you shoot someone and then they have to, they die in the
then they
hospital
die,
later,
still murder.
that's still murder. So,
Yep.
technically speaking,
well,
he
it's
still
his
did kill
fault.
the
The
dog.
dog died. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Alex,
Alex
has
is
to hit
out of
the
here.
road.
Go pick up the children.
I understand.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Yes, you will.
All right. Thanks. We'll try to get the printer running for you too while I'm doing a commercial.
As much as possible.
Would
Exactly.
you like to start up your helicopter?
Yeah. Do that. Exactly.
I got to tell you something here. Now, when I was waiting to come into the studio, I looked a lot thinner. Does this suddenly go to a wide angle when you put
Well,
me here?
if that's your,
Oh, my
if
that's-
chicks look
all
very
beefy.
chubby on camera. They do.
I know, but
well, if you're using your computer,
using my phone 'cause
Camera.
I'm off-site.
a lot of times
the
it's just
rodeo
your
ground.
angle. A lot
Yeah.
of times it's your angle.
You want the camera to be at eye height, generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go.
See, you look thinner already.
Oh, but now I have
Oh, look at that.
Yep, there
to...
you
Look
go.
at me.
There.
Look at me. I'm almost scrawny.
Scrawny Bob.
Hardly.
Scrawny Bob.
Eat a sandwich, Bob.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Bob, do you think it's getting worse? Is it getting better? I mean, I just can't
Worse.
believe this stuff even happens anymore.
No, it's getting worse, Tom.
It
And
seems to be.
it's the rhetoric on both sides. You cannot
Oh,
excuse
yes.
one side or the other. And it goes back to what I have talked about. As you know, Orono City Council for 8 years, school board in Buffalo for now 11 years, or 9 years, excuse me, 11 when this term is up. And I could have, and I don't know if I would have been elected, but I could have run for like state legislature or something else, because I do believe in giving to the community. but I never did because city councils and school boards are nonpartisan. I would not run and be forced to become a lemming. That you go against the party, you are ostracized and hated. And because I could not agree with either party on every decision they make.
No.
You know, I got to read you something because Josh Arnold and I still talk quite a bit, even though he's not on the show anymore. Hopefully we can get him back someday. It'd be wonderful. But Josh Arnold sent me this just now. There you go. The mayor and the governor have said these were peaceful protests. Apple disables iPhone stolen in Los Angeles looting. So apparently they went such peaceful protests, huh?
No.
Unbelievable. Why do they lie about that?
How about the dope from a TV station who said, "Oh, it's just people standing around having fun watching the cars burn."
Yeah.
Watching the cars.
Yeah, I saw that. It was just like peaceful protesters watching some cars burn or something like that.
Yeah,
No,
well,
use the word fun,
amazing.
having fun.
Yeah.
Watching cars.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I know, the things that they come up with, it's just like they don't even talk like humans at that point.
well,
No.
my friend who moved to New York when she was maybe 18, she's now in upstate New York, and she called me this morning. She's like, "What is going on in Minnesota?" And I said, "I'm sorry." And I just saying these things out loud, in my head, I sound like a lunatic. When you talk about Minnesota politics,
Yeah.
you sound like a lunatic.
Yes, you
because
do.
people can't believe that it's true, and talking about it, it's just so unbelievable. And then she started bringing up the fact that New York is going, the people that are running for governor again are Cuomo. Wasn't he just disgraced about some sort of molestation and
Yeah,
his
yep.
handling of the
Is it-
long-term care facilities? He's going to run again, and then the
Him or
other
his
person
bro-
is going to be, he's a communist. AOC has endorsed he says, "I'm a communist." That's who, I mean, I think that's who's going to be their next mayor.
Jesus.
I think the communist is going to win. I really do.
That won't be good.
I mean, it's just, politics have gotten to be so insane. I don't
Here's-
understand why we're headed in that direction.
I don't understand is why the progressive wing of the Democratic Party they're all afraid of them. The other
Yeah, they sure are.
because Democrat, I mean, they're not bad people, but there are the ones that are so far to the left, and they are the ones winning, and they
Yes.
want.
Wow.
It
I
does
think they're
seem
the ones
bad.
that get all the money.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
That's
they have a
exactly
lot of
right.
Behind
funding,
them.
and they're also the ones that are at home, unemployed, on the internet all day, where they can, spam social media and
That's
drum
true.
up support among people who don't know any better. Because the internet is basically where all these battles are fought these days. And it's
true.
the people who have no lives outside of the internet that are going to win these battles.
Well, it's just like the No Kings rally that was going on. It looked like it was almost all a bunch
College
of
students?
boomers. No, all a
Really?
bunch of boomers.
I haven't actually seen any
White
pictures.
boomers.
It was really?
That's what everybody's
God.
reporting.
Bob,
you go
I think
to
you need to
protest-
put headphones on or something. We're getting feedback from your end.
Yeah, there's
Me?
some feedback from something.
Yes.
Oh, there's just starters have been on
It
for
just
a while.
started I don't know, 2 minutes ago.
I don't have headphones. I mean, I'm on my phone.
Oh.
Oh.
Just,
You
I
want
don't
me
know,
to-
turn it down maybe?
It's
But then he has to
fine.
hear.
Let me put it so I'm bulbous again.
Yeah, maybe
There we go.
that might be
Let
better.
me put it so I'm bulbous.
Bulbous.
You're bulbous, are you?
What a description of yourself.
I mean, you moved here. The three of us all were born here. Did you ever think you'd hear the day? Because I did a few years ago think this is getting worse by the minute. Minnesota is now the most unfriendly state in America. Isn't that terrible?
Well, it doesn't shock me.
No, it does not shock me.
Then again, there's a lot of unfriendly states, so maybe it should. Yes, we lost to New York, or we're lower than New York
Yeah.
for friendliness.
Well, what's amazing is, remember about 20 years ago on the KQ Morning Show, I said, why do we use the slogan Minnesota nice? The only reason you would use a slogan like that is if you aren't nice.
Yes.
And
Nice
remember I
people
brought that
don't
up?
call themselves nice.
No,
Other
they
people
don't.
call them nice.
Yes. Minnesota nice. I went, that's the phoniest thing I've ever heard. And now literally it was voted the most unfriendly state in America.
Who did that?
I don't know. It was some poll, or I don't know. I can
Some
find
Well,
it.
I know this. When I was single and I would maybe approach a woman in a bar, they weren't always friendly.
Wow, that was your
Cold
approach.
shoulder.
That's
So-
your approach.
Yeah, I know
You
that.
were the
I've known it for
problem.
decades.
Give him the cold shoulder. That's just wonderful.
I found that Minnesota was ranked the worst state during the winter.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
that definitely
Gee, I
is.
wonder why.
That's
Yeah.
a fact, no question about it.
absolutely.
It's too bad. Why don't we take a quick break here and come back and wrap things up with Bob Sansford? You can stay a few more minutes, can't you, Bob?
Yeah, as long as I'm not screwing up the audio.
No, it's
you-
fine now.
Typical Sansevier.
Look, it's bulbous Bob.
Jesus. We'll be right back. Hey, local business owners, you want to get your name in front of the Tom Bernard podcast audience? We're hosting a summer online auction in a couple of weeks, and it's the perfect way for you to get involved. Just provide a product, service, or gift card, and we'll put it up for auction to our listeners and viewers. If your item sells, you'll receive trade advertising equal to the full retail value of what was sold. That means more exposure for your business without spending a dime out of pocket, just trading items for advertising. It's easy, it's fun, it's a win-win for everyone. To get more information, visit our website and click on the Advertise With Us button, and we'll get back to you. Don't miss out. Join the Tom Bernard online summer auction today. For Brad, John Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong. But suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing, and people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. It's Tom for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care-focused facility, has a full nursing team, always staffed within the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire of Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally. They are a family-owned local company, conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They're the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com.
More breaking news.
What?
Uh-oh.
Oh, do you have another thing to read?
Well, I just
No.
got to say, Bob Sansford Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
.com. Federal authorities have now taken the lead on the prosecution of Vance Bolter, however you pronounce his name. This opens up new paths to increase the severity of his charges. So they must actually have some good evidence, I'm hoping.
So is the death penalty on the table with the feds taking over?
Oh, I don't know. Is that
I wonder. I think there's a federal death penalty, so technically it could be. So they're superseding Minnesota's jurisdiction, is what you're saying.
I
Sounds
guess.
like it, yeah.
Okay, that's weird. Can they do that for something
Yes,
like
they
this?
can. Absolutely they can.
I would
Huh.
definitely trust the federal authorities to prosecute him in the best way possible than I
Yeah,
would Minnesota.
because Minnesota would just try to
authorities.
make it into a political
Yeah,
ammunition the whole
it
time.
would not be a good thing.
I wouldn't trust them for a second to handle this case. So,
No.
He'd be back on the street by noon.
Yeah, maybe.
no, it depends on which party he's with.
That's true. So, I guess there's probably going to be breaking news all day long about this.
Yeah, I would
probably
think
for the
so,
next
yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, probably for quite some time.
I just got a message, and I don't know what this means. There you go. The mayor and governor have said these were peaceful. And the next post I got was true. The fires are limited to Minneapolis and St. Paul.
The fires.
What fires?
I don't know. See, that's what it says, though. Are we having brush fires all of a sudden?
I think we should probably avoid reading texts
Yeah, I don't know what that
because
is.
we don't know what's actually happening.
Well, I don't think it's that big a deal, you know.
I don't know. We don't know what fires you're talking about.
Well, I don't either. I just we won't go very deep into it. Who knows?
I don't
All
know
right,
what that
then.
all means. But anyway,
But anyway,
I just feel it's such a terrible feeling.
it is. There's no question about it. I don't understand. What is so? The point is that this guy wanted the life to be his way, and it wasn't his way, so he started killing people. Is that what this is?
You never know what insane people really want.
It happens all the time.
But why do you get so nuts that you think, oh, I have to kill someone now?
I think if we knew that, then
Well, look-
things would be very different.
Look at all the radicalized young men that go and do crazy things. Look at people blow themselves up in the name
Yep.
of something.
Yeah.
It's,
They
you know,
do.
I mean,
Well, here's what's odd about this, though, because the people are now claiming, oh, he's his roommate or whatever that guy was, that he was a Trump supporter, blah, blah, blah. Well, then Melissa Hortman should be a hero to him
Yeah.
because she was the lone Democrat who voted to take away health care for illegal immigrants.
yep.
Yep.
So that's not a right-wing thing to do, is take out, that's someone you put on a pedestal if you're into that.
I would think
So
so.
I don't understand it. That's where this whole thing doesn't make sense.
No, and that was the first thing that people jumped on was the fact that she voted against her own party, that's why she was killed.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what came out at first.
Did the other politician, did he cross party lines and vote for that as well?
I've heard he has, and I've heard he hasn't.
I don't think this has anything
What's his name
to
again?
do with it at all. I think that this guy's just a psychopath.
Yeah.
I would seem that way. What's the guy's name?
Hoffman, John Hoffman.
John Hoffman. Let's see. Let's see what I can find. But
And I guess the shooter showed up at somebody else's house, but nothing happened. I mean, there's a lot. He was very active.
Yeah.
Well, Hoffman was the first family that he went after.
Mm-hmm.
And 11 miles away was Hortman.
Yeah.
And she was on Edinburgh Golf Course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know that because Dave Bialke lives off of like the 8th hole, and she was off the 12th.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, don't they miss Kirby Puckett? Because he lived off like the 3rd hole, didn't he?
I don't know what hole he had been on.
Yeah, he lived.
He was out
there,
there, though,
He
I
was
think,
out there. Yeah. I don't know, Bob. It's one of those situations. This is never going to end, is it? Minnesota, wherever you are.
It's not. Politicians can say we need civility, but they have to practice civility, and not for a day.
Very
or two.
smart. Yes.
It has to be something that has permanence, and I don't think any of them are capable of it.
No, and especially during a campaign year. My
Yeah.
God, the campaigns get so
Wait, you know
horrible.
what he reminded me of, though? It's like backstage, and I don't watch WWE, but when I was growing up back in Jersey, when they had Bruno Sammartino and all these,
Right.
Gorilla Monsoon, back in the back room where they're going at each other and just screaming
Yes.
and invectives at each other. That's what it's like. Oh, Gestapo. Now they're just trying to get a rise out of people who
Right.
already are saying they're like the Gestapo.
Yes.
I mean, that's the whole deal, though. Why do you want to go that far? I will never understand. You went all the way to Gestapo.
Because he gets
Why?
cheers from the
I
rallies.
guess.
Yep.
But here is a guy that claimed he was a history teacher.
Mm-hmm.
For you to say they're Gestapo, the ICE they have not picked people up and put them in concentration camps where the ultimate, idea is to exterminate them. This is not about extermination. It's about get people here who are here illegally out of the country. So he needs to. You were and always are telling us how you were a history teacher. Well, teach history the right way.
Yeah.
Well, and any politician should be able to process the fact that people don't like one president opening up the borders just so he can change the voting patterns of America.
Right.
That you, as a citizen, a taxpaying citizen, your vote is now diluted because of these open border situations. Anybody with a half a brain can understand that people are overburdened with taxes and rising costs of living and the inflation that the Biden administration caused by printing money like lunatics. And then we are also called on to pay for everybody's housing, food, health care, everything else. And then we also have the added burden of different languages coming into our school systems. I mean,
Well-
it's a burden on the tax-paying citizens. Why a government can't understand why people would be like, we're fed up. We don't want this anymore. And when you are fed up, then all of a sudden you're called names and you're a horrible human being and it's unjust and it's this and it's that. It's like you guys decided to make this decision without any input on, because so many people voted for Biden and they said, oh, he never said he was going to open the borders. I'm like, yes, he did. He has said it many, many times. And then they're surprised when it happens. I don't understand how, in the age of information that we have at our fingertips, so many people can be so misinformed on things that are happening right in front of their eyes.
See, I think that Trump, he's making a mistake, and I'm not saying making a mistake to get illegals out, but the day he took office, he has the control of both the House and the Senate. He should be telling them, you put a bill through that the census does not count everyone in the country. It only counts people that are American citizens.
Yep.
And if you want to have an overall number, have that, because California and other states have benefited from the overall number. That's how they're getting all of these congressional districts. It's based on the overall number, not on the number of American citizens. And that's what it should be, because it will change the map.
But does it matter what he does?
What's that?
Does it matter what he says? They just do whatever they want anyway.
But that's what he should be talking to them about doing. Somebody should have introduced that bill, because that would take away, that'd be crippling to the Democratic Party, which is what Trump and other Republicans want to do, because it will change the map of districting when you take away everybody and just have citizens.
Right.
And then give the overall number if you want. That's fine.
Yeah, but they've proven over and over again that they won't follow the law.
Well, when the census is what the districting is based on.
Yeah, the census is a federal thing. It's not a state thing. So if the feds decide to start not counting people who aren't citizens, then there's nothing anyone can do about it.
But isn't that why they declare sanctuary states, so that they can do whatever they want?
No, they can't make them citizens like that. The sanctuary state thing is basically saying we're not going to cooperate with law enforcement. It's all.
They could live
It's
here.
obstruction, but they can't actually give them citizenship like that.
But they've been allowing them to vote and giving them driver's licenses.
Allegedly, they don't, but
Well,
they'll never admit it. But because they're not supposed to do that either.
Well, that's why I don't. You can pass all the laws you want, but if people don't follow them, then.
Yeah.
But on the point I'm making, though, the census is the census. And if they just limit it to American citizens and have like 2 columns, American citizens, overall number, but the districting has to be based on whether you're a citizen or not, because you're the only ones who should be voting. So you should not be giving the overall number to give that, some of the districts in California would disappear or certainly be moved. They would lose some districts if you didn't count illegal immigrants.
Which would be good. That would be good.
I don't think it'd be the worst thing.
No.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for another big. There's a lot to talk about, and I think you guys did a great job because you didn't get too emotional about it. You're disgusted like the rest of us. It's just disgusting.
I'm emotional about how big I look on screen.
Oh God, here we go again. All right, Sandy, we will talk to you next week.
You will. I'm gonna go waddle off set, and I'll talk to you next.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevier, sports sponsored by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers. We'll talk to you tomorrow.